however deep your why is in the ground, like an anchor, when you got a ship and you throw a little anchor out, if you've got that anchor that's just barely in the bottom of the ocean, that ship is going to pull it out if anything crazy happens. But if your anchor has sunk down deep, then when the storms hit, your boat's going to stay put. You're not gonna bail. You're staying put. And so I'll tell you a little bit of my story. I worked with a communication firm, big communication firm based out of California for 7 years, and it was a great job. I became a speaker coach. I created workshops that have been taken by trillions of humans apparently. And so just it just went really well. It was a great opportunity. I grew a ton, a good stable job led by wonderful, wonderful people. And as I was growing in my career, I'd get people going, now, why don't you kind of go out on your own? Why don't you go do your own thing? And what I thought, and sometimes told them, depending on how raspy I felt, was I got a good, safe job. I have a stay-at-home wife and two wonderful little kids who, I mean, maybe it's their fault, I don't know, but they count on a paycheck and they like to eat food. And so I'd like to have something stable going on. And people would continue to rattle my cage. Hey, why don't you go on your own? Why don't you go on your own? And I'm a play it safe guy. I'm incredibly conservative. Now, I bet you there's a lot of people on this call who you're just looking for an excuse to get out of your job and go start a business. God bless you, a hot dog and hallelujah. That's not me. I'm steady Eddie. Let's just stick with what we've got. Everything will be fine. That's not who I married. My wife is, come on, let's go do something crazy. Let's get out there. Come on, you got one life. I mean, she is just out there bouncing. And I had enough people who started talking about this. And what happened was two things. I'll say two very specific things for me. One was we started to really get in touch as a family about what our family vision is. What is the vision that we have as a family? What do we want? How do we want to impact the world around us? How do we want to impact the kingdom? How is us Davenports? What kind of influence are we going to have in the world? We went through a program. There's an outfit actually based out of Cincinnati called Outpost Advisors. They walked us through creating a family vision. Fantastic. So we got this family vision. And to accomplish that family vision, I couldn't really stay at my job. So right there, I got a rub point. And the other thing was this. I remember there was a time where I was sweating this, like, oh, I don't want to leave my job. This is crazy. And I just felt like the Lord, the Father, kind of pulled me aside a little and said this to me. If you stay in your job, I can do certain things in your character. But there are some things in your character that I cannot affect unless you leave. And that was a moment for me, but it was also, as a son, a heartening moment for me, because God was telling me, I believe, hey, if we go out on this adventure together, I can grow you in ways that we haven't been able to grow you in the past. For me, primarily around fear, around self-doubt, around anxiety. And so, long story boring, I eventually jumped ship back in August and started my own business. And I can say that only by doing that have those two things started to come to pass. We've been able to live out more of our family vision, and God has been able to craft more and more of my character and grow me and mature me in ways I never expected. There's an old saying that I just made up that is character challenges will either do something to your character or for your character. And I think becoming an entrepreneur, you're going to get in there and you're going to really get challenged hard around everything, right? I mean, this last week, we got punched in the face twice, proverbially, and it hurt and it scared us to death. And everything in me wanted to go back to those fears, but coming back to this idea of I am meant to live a life that faces these things and grow as a human, that these challenges can actually grow my character. That's been a big thing for me. So that's my story. I guess my encouragement to everyone is, what's your why? Like, what's your why? Is your why, I want to make some more money? Okay, well, that's a pretty shallow anchor. Or I'm sick of working for that lady. Okay, great. Don't get married. And that's also a shallow anchor. It has to be something deep. And I think it has to be something deep in terms of how your decision will impact you as a human being, going back to what Matthew was talking about, your identity and how it's going to mature you and also the true impact is going to have on the people around you. And if you can't answer why on either of those, you're going to have a tough run. I think you're going to run into a lot of problems.
Whoa, man, that's good. I love your personal story. And I already see a question here, someone wanting more curiosity about your family vision. But like, this idea of like the why, like, Simon Sinek kind of got a lot of cred and run on this idea of like start with why, right? And the golden circle and all this kind of stuff, right? But like, this is age-old wisdom that if you don't know at your core to be true and the thing it's true and why it's true and who it's true for, then like, it's just, I love that analogy, Jeff, of like, that's a shallow anchor. And a shallow anchor, it drags. And when an anchor drags, a boat drifts. And when a boat drifts, before you know it, you're out to sea all by yourself and you're going, holy smokes, I need some help, right? Mm-hmm. And so, gosh, that's a really good analogy. Is there anything else that kind of you would unpack there, whether it's this question around your family vision or kind of this idea of like Simon's take on why and stuff like that?
I think it's been hit on a couple of times, but asking the customer questions is really important. And I think you can bring that into your why. It becomes, who am I serving? Who am I here to help? And I think we can all say, oh, I'm building my business to help people. Well, we're really doing it to make money, and hopefully it helps people. And if those things can join, okay, fantastic. But really, if you can zero in, you'll have so much, that anchor will fall into the sand even deeper if you have a legitimate person who you truly want to help. When I was in high school and college, I was the shyest kid, the wallflower of wallflowers. I was voted least likely to be remembered. I did not like talking to humans, socially awkward, all of that. And then ended up somehow building a career out of communication and doing big talks to a bunch of people, whatever. I love working with people who are like I used to be. And I look at them and go, oh my gosh, God's kind of geared me to go help them grow in the way he's grown me. And so I think if you can identify what does your customer need, how is that really, not just, well, it's going to help them make more money, more sales. Okay, that's something, but it's always something deeper. When I talk with my clients, it's always about, you're not just talking about sales. You're not just talking about IT or cloud. You're talking about something deeper. You're talking, when you talk to a human being created in the image of God, you're talking to a deep being. So always try to strike for that.